Music playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the 4 walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
It's the Wake Up Show with the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Welcome to the Wake Up Show, Chicago.
Rise and shine. It's the Wake Up Show, where every sunrise is a call to action. Powered by the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, we are the champions of change, advocating for diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the world of corporate and government contracting. It's not just a show, it's a movement. So get ready for another dynamic journey as we wake up the world to a new era of opportunities and empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, President Larry Ivory.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wake Up Show, Chicago. I am LaDonna Raeh. I survived Lobby Day. Yes, I'm a proud member of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. We want to welcome you to the Wake Up Show, Chicago. This show is powered by Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and sponsored by Wind Creek Casino, Chicago Southland. Each and every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., we're coming to you live on WVON 1690 AM and streaming everywhere in the world on iHeartRadio. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Wake Up Show Chicago. For exclusive content, just hit that subscribe button. We won't even charge you for it. Now, write this number down. 773-591-1690 so you can call us live during this show right here. But before we dive in, I want to say a big shout out to our CEO and president. He is of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and also the chairman of the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. Big shout out to Larry Ivory. Happy birthday yesterday. He is not on today, but I tell you what, he might just call in. So I want to dive right in. Today's show is special because if you hadn't heard prior to now, we do Lobby Day. We, meaning ILBCC. We do Lobby Day each and every year. Now, you can lobby in Springfield throughout the year, but we go in droves once a year as a chamber. And we had a very successful set of talking points where we were speaking to different agencies. And to join us live, I want to make sure that we have some of our attendees that joined us during Lobby Day. So I want to introduce first Corey. Corey is his name is Corey Dooley Johnson. He's known as Community Corey. He's a dynamic community organizer, creative and youth advocate, and on the west side of Chicago. Please join me in welcoming Corey Dooley. And I'm also going to welcome our other guest shortly. Hi, Corey. Good morning.
Hey, LaDonna, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yes, good morning to you as well. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, you know what? We're so glad to have you because number one, you brought the young people. You brought.
Yes, I did.
So tell us a little bit about what made you gather up this beautiful group of young people and bring them to Lobby Day. And when I say young, they were young adults.
Yes. Well, first off, thank you, LaDonna, and I want to give a huge shout out to Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and Larry Ivory because our trip to Springfield was made possible through the sponsorship of your organization, and so we were able to bring 9 youth, including myself, down to Springfield. These youth were ages, as you said, some of them were high school students, some of these were college students, and half of them were entrepreneurs, and so. We actually were at another business summit. Terry Simmons, who's a member of your organization, correct?
Yeah.
She's a member of the
She
chamber.
is. Absolutely.
She sponsored our tickets to one of her business events, and it was there that I ran into Mr. Ivory, and my students got a chance to meet him. And he said, "Hey, in a few weeks we're doing Lobby Day, and if you're interested and want to learn more and stay connected, I'll sponsor your tickets to come down to Lobby Day." And that's what we did. My students made it to that 6 a.m. bus, and so that surprised me. Not really surprising, but I'm just glad that they were committed and able to show up and learn so much.
I'm so glad that you brought them. And we also have on the line Miss Cassandra Matz, who is a dedicated public servant, real estate professional, and founder of CJREDD LLC, specializing in business development and operational efficiency. You got 14 years of experience, Cassandra. Good morning.
Good morning, LaDonna, and thank you once again for having me have this fireside chat this morning so that everybody can understand the importance of being involved and being your own activist and coming down for Lobby Day. And thank you, Larry Ivory, for leading the pack.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about what you observed on Lobby Day, because this is your thing. This is your jam. You're not new to this.
Absolutely. And I got introduced to the Illinois Black Chamber when I was chief of staff in the 19th district. So although I was in the district in Chicago, well, not Chicago, in the Southland, but I also came down to Springfield on several occasions. And one night I was invited to the reception of the Illinois Black Chamber. And just to have the energy in the room of people that look like me, businesses, and advocating for their own right to operate as a Black business, I got hooked. And that was in 2015. And I've been a part of coming to the Chamber's Lobby Day ever since.
Nice. And you have a background in PR and journalism, into public service. How does that transition? Because I know getting hooked down in Springfield is not something that sounds glamorous to anyone who's listening this morning. Can you just tell us about that?
Well, basically, all politics is local. And I try to express to everyone that your immediate comfort is knowing who your mayor is, knowing who the trustees are, knowing your legislators. You know who your representative, who your senator is, so that when you do descend on Springfield, it's a familiar face because you already went to their office, already talked about how they can help your business and how they can help Black businesses. So when we all come down to Springfield as a collective, they're not seeing us for the first time, but they're seeing us in a large number, which makes a difference.
What are some of and Corey, I want you to chime in on this too, just from observing yesterday. What are some of the takeaways that can help make Lobby Day even more successful each and every time we come? You mentioned that, Cassandra, you mentioned that when we come in large numbers, that there's more of an impact, and I'm paraphrasing, but just in watching what happened in Springfield, I want to say in Washington so bad because it was like a baby Washington, but just watching what happened in Springfield on Wednesday, this past Lobby Day, what would you say was a takeaway that can make it even stronger next year?
I would say the takeaway to make it even stronger next year is that we continue to educate our members. we kind of break it down so they know what to expect. And then we know how to move as a collective or as an individual. Although we had several meetings that allowed us to be in the room as a collective, but if we break off when we have some downtime and we go see our legislators, let them know, hey, we are here and we will be having a reception at the end of the night. And I would like for you to come and talk to the collective about what's going on in Springfield. What is it that we can tap into to help you move your 4 pillars ahead?
Mm-hmm. And Corey, what did you observe that is your takeaway for you and the young adults that you brought?
We actually had a wonderful time. I love that we were provided with pins because everyone looked at our suit jackets and saw that we were all with the same organization. So that was pretty cool. That was a good unifier. To the other young lady's point, we had the room packed. I know some of those rooms was standing room only. And so, I don't think that was on us because we showed up in droves. But, if we could get, just larger conference rooms, them anticipating that, we will be having at least, 50 people in the meeting sometimes, that'd be great. And I love how the agenda was sent out. And it had information on there on the bills that we were supporting and the bills that we were opposing. And so I think if we just take a little bit more time to dive into those bills and, be able to speak to exactly what we want, I think that'd be great too. But overall, I think it was great and I'm excited for next year.
I love it. And so, for the both of you, I think that our audience, just to paint a picture, I want to let them know what you mean by the agenda. Putting the agenda together, first of all, because we go every year as a collective through the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, we have to kind of make a decision on the different committees that we have in the organization. And those committees are listed on ilbcc.org. And one of those committees is construction. And, when you look at an agency like the Illinois Department of Transportation, and you look at the people that are actually getting the work in construction through the Illinois Department of Transportation, a lot of times they don't look like us. Okay, so I'm saying this, I'm choosing my words because we definitely don't want to incite anger, but we want to incite awareness. So because they don't look like us, do we just take that lying down and go find business elsewhere? Or do we take that to the agencies? Well, the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce puts together an agenda. And on that agenda, it says what time we will be meeting with what agency. We're not meeting with, just any old one, any old body from that agency. We're meeting from directors, the secretaries, and everyone that are in charge of making those decisions and taking the information back so that these considerations can be put on the table. When we do these agendas, it is so that we can make an impact to make change. Cassandra, you and I had a conversation, and it was so empowering because one of the questions that come up, or one of the concerns, is that because they don't look like us, why is it that we lose these bids? Why is it that we're not part of the selection process and we don't have more Black people in with these contracts? And you made some comments to me that had nothing to do with the pre-qualification, but the selection process. Can we share that this morning?
Sure, yes. So the selection process, as you and I talked about the other day, and I'm trying to recall my memory now that I'm a little older, it's hard to recapture information that, you once said. But
I thought it was just me. I thought it was just me. Oh, misery loves company, girl. Thank
I
you.
know, right? I love it. I love it. There is a selection process, but the thing is that the conversation that we had with the acting secretary, and forgive me, I can't recall her name. I believe her first name was Gia. I can't recall the last name, but she's new to the seat. She's only been there for since January. Mm-hmm. So she's got a lot of learning to do, and it's an opportunity for us to, like we did, get in front of her and let her know what didn't work and what we expect that she can do to make a legacy for herself to help us, move our agenda further. And so with the selection process, and we're small businesses, we're small contractors, so we cannot capture the bid of a big prime contractor. But what you can do is unbundle some of that so that we can not only stop being a sub, but we can now be a prime if they unbundle it where we can meet the bid requirement so that we can be our own prime. And that's what the challenge is to her. Allow us to grow by unbundling these contracts so that we can put not saying a set aside, but an unbundling where we can actually bid as a prime. And that will grow our companies as opposed to us being a sub underneath the prime and all the challenges that goes along with that don't help us to be successful.
I love how you broke that down even to me because my involvement with the chamber is more on the marketing side. But now when we get into the politics of making these bids, it gets a little deeper. And if that's outside of your wheelhouse, even if you're listening and you have a business, you're not expected to know this. So if you tap in with the organization like ours, then you can have a little bit more of an explanation because all the verbiage isn't clear, Cassandra. The verbiage is not clear. It seems like it should be a checklist that makes sense to the average person that or the average business owner. But there are some things that are a little bit deeper than what's on the checklist, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Not only is the verbiage not clear, but the contract is so deep in depth that we don't have the time to actually dive into the contract in order for us to apply for the bid because we're so busy working, trying to keep our business afloat that we are losing the back end. We don't have the backroom operation. So we're missing out on a lot of stuff because we're actually doing the work. You know, we're self-performing the work in our back room. We don't have the funds to actually have somebody back there to fill out the bid paperwork and all that other stuff. So we have to stop doing the work and we have to go and we have to fill out the paperwork, which means that now our bid is going to be high. And the reason why it's going to be high is because we're putting in everything that we have to do in order to make this operation work, as well as so we don't lose any money on this bid. So now we've bidded ourselves out of the running.
So we're using real numbers, Cassandra, is what you're
saying. Yes, we're using real numbers. Absolutely. Wow. And it's unfortunate that the playing field isn't level.
Corey, you have your organization where you brought the young people. We call them young people because they're probably half our age, right? So your group of people that came with you, can you name some of the types of businesses they have?
I can. And so I know that Corey Phillips and Ian Alphonse, those two young men are students at North Central College. And they have their own financial literacy company called Social Storm, where they talk about stocks. They give, financial literacy education. You have Andrea Beverly with AJ Collections. She crochets and does, streetwear and fashion wear. Janicia Williams, who is my colleague. We help co-lead the Austin Experience. That is the youth group that we came down with. She has her own consulting company, Envision Urban Solutions, and so where she does consulting on community development and youth development. And so, we have a number of young entrepreneurs, including myself.
Nice. And even Cassandra, listening to those types of businesses, they too can come down to Springfield to access, or should I say, get some answers on accessing some contracts.
Absolutely. Because when you think about it, all of the state businesses and they have different needs. They have needs from toilet tissue to building a building. And so in order for you to come down there and be a part of the process, you have to understand the bid buy. And the bid buy is definitely a booklet that tells you every department that needs something. And everything that Corey just said, I'm pretty sure there's a niche there that they can also apply for or get a contract for. So you won't know this unless you come down on lobby day and learn about how the state purchased their procurement process. And it's just a learning curve for everyone. And then offline, Corey, if I can get your information, I have an opportunity for your young people. So this is what it's all about. It's connecting. President Ivory bring us all together as Black businesses. I had not even heard of Corey. Now that I've heard of your organization, I have an opportunity for your young people. And that's what it's all about, that we get together as Black businesses, as a collective, and learn about each other businesses where we can buy goods and services from each other.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And speaking of networking, we ended our day, and I don't want to jump the gun, but we ended our day with some of our sponsors. We had ComEd, we had Ameren, we had Wind Creek, we had several sponsors. And if you guys go to our Facebook page, you'll be able to see the pictures that we took throughout the day. But I do want to give a special thank you at this 9:30 mark to our sponsors. So there was ComEd, Aetna, Ameren, Illinois, Wind Creek Casino, Chicago Southland, Constellation, Simcoe, and Illinois Bankers Association. But I also want to give a big shout out to Kristen Freeman because she brought an amazing group as well, and she sponsored them to ride the bus with us. And that bus ride was quite interesting because we got an opportunity to debrief after lobby day. Everyone was tired, even though we wore our comfortable shoes, but we got a chance to talk about the wins and the observations of lobby day. And I also gave a shout out to you, Corey, because you were leading the young adult group and inspiring the next generation of leaders. So you'll see that on our Facebook page because it was so important to do so. And we appreciate you. And we appreciate you, Cassandra.
Thank you. And we couldn't do any of this without your help. And you really put together a stellar event, and it went off flawlessly. I mean, it was just amazing.
Yeah. Well, you weren't on that phone call we had. We were like, what? But no, that's the whole purpose of it, is to make sure that our constituents, our members, and everyone that was involved in our lobby day or any of our events, and by our, I mean the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, we utilize the Wake Up Show Chicago to get our voices heard across America, even, and of course in the state of Illinois, but across America and the world, because we're doing some things in Africa and Zimbabwe as well. But the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce always puts forth the effort to make sure that everyone is informed, educated, elevated, and part of the mission. No one left behind. And I love that about this organization. I want to give a big thank you because I just, like I said, when you said me, no, I know you didn't mean me specifically, but there was Mara, there was Universal, there was Janice Ivory, which is Larry's wife, and Larry, and so many other people that pulled together for these events so that everyone can have access to education, the experience, the opportunity, and networking. And going back to networking, our dinner after lobby day was an amazing opportunity for everyone to kind of let their hair down, take their shoes off. They didn't, thankfully, but and break some bread together and network, because I think my phone's been ringing it like crazy because I've met some people that want to possibly do business with me. But were you able to experience that same sentiment, Corey?
Yes, I was, and we did a great job of collecting business cards. And now the importance is to follow up. And so, most of the time, our business owners are first or second generation, and so we think about doing business at a local level. We think about our neighborhood, and this was important because it helped us explore new markets. And so now my students are thinking, okay, well, what does it look like to do business on the state level? Most of them weren't even familiar with the word procurement, not even knowing that, hey, the state does have a budget. These different departments and agencies have budgets, and they pay everyday entrepreneurs like you to come in and fill that gap. And so it was important because a lot of the times we're taught how to apply for a job, but we're not taught how to apply for an RFP.
All right. You see, even the dogs agree. Okay. So if you again, our phone number is 773-591-1690. I got a couple of text messages that the lines are busy, but that could be because you're calling at the same time. But it's 773-591-1690. And one question that came through is, how important does Corey feel that the younger and veteran entrepreneur, I think I'm reading this right. How important does Corey feel that younger and veteran entrepreneurs begin to come together to network and learn from and educate one another?
Yes, that question was for me.
Yes.
I think it's important. I'm going to step away. My dogs do agree. I think it is important. And to Miss Cassandra's point, she just said, hey, I have an opportunity for your young people. And a lot of the times, the things that we need, we really already have. And so I know sometimes there'll be conversations on, hey, yes, we do need our legislators to do this. Yes, we do need state departments to give us contracts. But hey, what about the veterans in our community that have these businesses and they are so busy working? How about, we reach out to that young person that has a marketing company and we can run your social media. How about you reach out to that young person that just got a degree and, in accounting and have them help run your QuickBooks? Mm-hmm. How can we use these young people that, we're sending them off to college and then, they're having a hard time getting in the workforce? We can give them that experience and hire them as, our subcontractors and as our freelancers to kind of come in and help fill those gaps. So I think it's important that, our community, we just continue to uplift each other and work with each other.
I love it. Cassandra, you ready to take a caller?
Yes.
All right, James, good morning. You're on the Wake Up Show Chicago.
Oh, LaDonna. Sister, you sound so good. I'm trying to figure out how I can crawl through this phone line.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow.
Hey, LaDonna, I used to try and figure out why the African woman excited the psychopath boy so much. But as I got older, my question was answered.
Well, I'm glad your question was answered, James. Thanks for calling. All right. We also have Terry Simmons on the line. Good morning, Terry.
Morning. Good morning, LaDonna, and everyone on the Wake Up Show. Good morning, Corey. I am so excited to hear your voice. LaDonna,
and Terry, Cassandra's on here too.
Hey, Cassandra, how are you?
I'm doing better than good, dog. Thank you for asking.
It was so good to see both of you at the lobby day. What an amazing lobby day. Give LaDonna a hand again, girl. You did that.
We did it collectively. I wish I could do something like that by myself. No way.
Yes, I know, but you're here, so we got to give you kudos while you're here.
All right.
But, collectively and with Corey, with Larry,
yes,
I've been going to Lobby Day for a while now, and every year it just gets better and better. And this year, for me, the most exciting part was having all of the amazing young people there participating in the activities, learning what it is to come to Springfield, engage with those people that you voted for, that's there on your behalf, to hold them accountable for what they said that they were going to do, and then understanding the process with the other agencies and where there's opportunity. So I'm excited about our future, to see what our young people are doing, how they're getting engaged, how they're really moving things forward. So Corey, thank you, and Janicia, for all the hard work that you're doing and for bringing your group, continuing to engage your group, putting in places that they would not have known about. So thank you, and I appreciate you, and thanks everyone that's on the show this morning.
Terry, thank you, because I didn't know that Corey and his group started off at your event.
Yes, they did. We had our third annual business summit on April 13th at Malcolm X College, and actually Corey found us. That's how resourceful, that's how hungry that this young man and his group, they are for this information and for doing the work. They found us when we were marketing our event, and he reached out to me and my executive director and asked us how could they participate. And we were very excited and eager to sponsor them and have them there as a part of learning and growing with us on that day. So I'm really excited that Larry continuing the collaboration and continuing to help these young folks achieve success.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I was with you. I must have just missed Corey because I was with you later that evening with the award ceremony.
Yes, you were. It was a part of that entire day of
Yeah.
activities, LaDonna. So, yes, it was a wonderful day. And thank you for emceeing our Women in Power reception that we held at the Hyatt House later that day.
Of course, of course. It was an honor. It was an honor, absolute honor. All right, Terry. Well, thank you so much. And just to give our audience some references, or should I say resources, if you want to contact your Illinois General Assembly so that you can look up bills and track legislation and find your state representatives and senators, go to ilga.gov. And I can put that in the chat as well so that you'll have it. Also, if you want to look up the BCOE, um, for Black Contractors Organization for Equity, or if you want to look up the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, if you want to look up small business administrations, I have a list of resources here. So I'm going to put some of these in the chat. So that you can have access to resources necessary to go through before you go to Lobby Day, or if you decide to go to Springfield. And don't feel that Springfield is not for you. Okay. Going with us as a collective, Cassandra, you mentioned those buttons, or no, Corey, you mentioned those buttons, right? You said we got our pin, and now I know what you mean because you were talking about the buttons. We were all wearing Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce buttons on our lapels. And so you knew who was with who. And if you looked for that button and you saw it, you knew that we were all there for the same reason. But when we come collectively, and you have your chair in the room, your chair is the one that conducts the meeting, and now you have your agenda and you can speak on those talking points and get the message through. We had some situations where we had people going into meetings at the same time because some meetings were overlapping others. But because there was so many of us, we were able to spread throughout each meeting and still pack those rooms. And it took everyone to register collectively in order to get onto lobby day and go with us at the same time. So I just want our audience to know when we post events and we ask you to register, it's so important that you do because we're able to call ahead and reserve certain amount of space for a certain amount of people. So don't wait till the last minute and say, oh, I'll be there. No, we need you in that list. So make sure you do your registration. Cassandra, did you want to add anything else?
Yes, and thank you for that. And back to Corey's point about having the young people in there with the old vets, and I attribute myself as an old vet.
Yes.
Because it not only shows them that it's possible to have your own business and keep dreaming and keep moving your agenda forward, but also it's your civic duty. You can't have a business without civics. You can't have a business without knowing who your state legislators are, who are your representatives. You have to know the two work together, and we have to help train them up. We have this institutional knowledge. We've been at it for a minute, and now we have these babies coming up the rear. If we don't leave the ladder down and extend our hand to help pull them up, then there's reinventing the wheel. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just start at the wheel where we left off and keep carrying it on. So to Corey's point, keep bringing the youth down there, keep aligning them with the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, because they are going to learn so much, and they teach us because now, we are antiquated, and they have their fingers on the pulse of how to move this agenda forward. And I thank you, Corey. And don't forget, get my number from LaDonna because I have a great opportunity for your youth.
All right. I'll make sure I do that. Corey, you ready to take the next caller?
Yes, I am.
All right. Steve, good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up Show Chicago.
Yes, I wanted to make a couple of points. And for the sake of full disclosure, I've been in public policy for over 30 years. I did my doctoral work in the field. And people need to understand when you have this kind of effort, there needs to be a coherent message. People cannot go to places like Springfield and have 1,000,001 issues that they want Springfield to address. So all of these things need to be resolved long before they get there. And so, because if you go down there and start talking about what's happening in the global stage in a particular country or a particular issue or a fringe issue, it's all going to get lost. So there needs to be a set of issues that people are prepared to discuss, 3, 4, 5 big things, perhaps at the most. And then that's the message that everybody talks about. But if somebody wants to start talking about U.S. policy towards whatever country, wherever, that's going to get lost in the mix.
Yeah, it's not specific enough. It's not relevant. Thank you, Steve. You're so right.
Thank you.
And I'm a babe in this. I'm learning this through the chamber. But I did mention earlier that we had an agenda, and that really helped. That really helped a lot because on that agenda, that's what we went to the different agencies with, and we stuck to the agenda. You want to go outside of the agenda because, of course, emotions can rise, but if you stick to the agenda, then they will stick to the agenda. Am I right? Am I right in saying this, Cassandra? That this is
You
what
are
my observation was.
You're so spot on, and you guys were really good. Larry was really good at giving us talking points. So when we did break away from the group as a collective and we went to our legislators or a legislator that's not ours, we still had those talking points. And so the caller is absolutely correct. You have to stay on point and on task.
Yeah. So I want to take a moment to just let everyone know that if you are interested in joining the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, you can go to our website. It's ilbcc.org. We shortened it for you so you can get to it quickly. Make sure you look for the black and white, we've changed the color on the website. Sorry, but it's the B. It's the B. That's our logo. It's the B with the C's around it. So it's ilbcc.org. And I mentioned that for a reason because there are some branding situations where there's another organization that's very closely named to ours. So I want to make sure that you go to the right website, and that's ilbcc.org. And if you go to about, you'll see Larry, you'll see the staff, you'll see, I think my picture's on there. But if you go to join, that's where it really counts. And in order to do things like this, if you heard, you could have heard the expenses. Corey, Cassandra, I know you heard the expenses when I mentioned dinner for everyone, the bus for everyone, that all costs. And we're able to do that through membership. So the more members that we have, the more members we can serve, and the more we can expand our reach so that we can elevate our members and the Black community of businesses. It's so important. So go to ilbcc.org, and our phone number is also on the website. If you want to have a personal touch and some questions, give us a call. But if you go to that site, you can join. You can look at our calendar of events. You can look at our upcoming conference that's coming up. I think we're going to do the pre-convention cruise this year still. We've got a lot of fun things coming up. So make sure you get on board on our website and stay in tune with us. I think the Wake Up Show is on there somewhere. If you scroll down, you'll see the Wake Up Show. But we're separate on our YouTube page. And if you go to our YouTube page, you'll be able to find the Wake Up Show Chicago so that you can dive into some of those collective, should I say, published videos. All right. So,
and LaDonna, if I could just add to that
please.
membership,
Uh-huh.
The importance of that membership is that we come together in a safe space. Because being a business owner and having frustrations, I'm thinking that I'm in a silo. I'm on an island by myself. But when we come together as members and we talk about, our hindrance, what's holding us back, we realize that it's not just my business, it's everybody's business. And that's where we get the collective voice. And that's how we get the talking points to go down to Springfield, because we're not just advocating for my business, we're advocating for all Black businesses. And that's what's so important, that we
Yeah.
take the time out one day a year to advocate for the collective.
I'm just speechless because it almost brings a tear. You mentioned earlier, and Corey, you can probably chime in on this also. You mentioned earlier that if you have a business, you have to know your legislators. But there are so many of us that don't, and I'm included. Okay, um, but the people that we do get to know, I think it's important to understand some of the challenges in having a small business. A lot of times, especially since COVID, you'll wake up, and I'm not minimizing anyone's efforts and research, but you'll wake up and decide, you know what, it's time for me to start that business. Okay. And you just get started. You know you have a phone, a computer, a website, maybe social media. But some businesses didn't start off with a business plan, and some businesses didn't go for funding. They just got started, and they started collecting income, or should I say, building their customer base, and they just kept going. And then the overhead got bigger because they expanded, and they just kept going. Well, when you're working in your business, Cassandra and Corey, sometimes it's difficult to work on your business. And part of working on your business is sitting down and taking the time to build relationships, not just with other businesses or vendors or some customers, but with your legislators. Am I right in saying that?
You hit the nail right on the head, and you have to have relationships. Businesses, I find that when you have a relationship, people do business with you because of who you are and the comfort level that they bring. Of course, once they do business with you, you have to show up and show out. But it starts with building a relationship. You're spot on with that.
Yeah, Corey?
Yeah, I would agree as well. And so when we took our trip down to Springfield, we actually got an opportunity to meet with our representatives that cover our state legislators that cover the west side of Chicago. And so I want to give a huge thank you also to State Rep Camille Y. Lilly of the 78th District, and also State Representative LaShawn K. Ford of the 8th District. They were very welcoming. Me and Janicia worked closely with them. And so they were more than willing to open their doors, and they met with our young people. And that was just great because a lot of them didn't know who their state representative was. And so to be able to put a name to a face and to be able to even understand, Camille Lilly was an advocate in putting funds in the state budget for chambers of commerces. And so it was just really a full circle moment. And I'm glad that we got the opportunity to expose them to that. And now it opens the door to where they can build, their own relationship as well.
Yes, absolutely. So and we're building relationships because now I know Cassandra, now I know Corey, and now I know just a slew of other peoples that came on the bus and came individually because not everyone rode the bus. But before we close out, because we're almost on coming up on our 10 o'clock closing time, how did you enjoy the food and the drinks at the end?
So I'm a vegetarian, and I really appreciated that I was thought of in that meal. So many times I go to events and, everybody's a meat eater, so they have tons of meat, and even they would have the vegetables full of meat. So there's nothing that I can eat other than a salad. And I'm like, okay, I want to eat something hot too. Can I eat something hot? So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness of making sure that the meal was well rounded.
Yeah, Corey. I know you were over there. I saw you over there munching on something. What did you order? Or what did you get?
Yeah, and thank you, Cassandra, for being vegan because I got 2 pieces of fish.
The
But it was
benefit is real.
the fish, the chicken was good. There were some potatoes there, the green beans. I remember because it was that good. So it was a wonderful time, and the dessert was good as well. So I have no complaints on my end.
Yeah, I got the salmon, And here's what I have to remember when you're running around, because Mara, Janice, Larry, myself, we're the constant runners, and Universal. And I forgot to fix my plate. So someone fixed my plate for me, but I didn't get the dessert. So did you all have what was that, a mousse or something? A chocolate mousse?
Yeah, it was a chocolate mousse, and I believe that it was maybe a cheesecake. I
Oh,
don't know, but
goodness
I
gracious.
missed out on both of those because I had already eaten my fair share.
Okay. Yeah, I missed out, and not because I had had my fair share. It was all gone. That's why I missed out. But I did have the salmon, like I said, and then the I think I had was it mashed potatoes? The mashed potatoes were really good. But just being able to have our sponsors come up on stage while we were breaking bread with one another, we went to the bar, and I didn't get a drink, but the water, look, I'm not trying to stretch this, but I don't know what was in that water, but I couldn't get enough of it. I would drive 3 hours to Springfield to drink the water that they gave us. I don't know what it was. It must have been triple filtered. But but while I was over there drinking up the water, we had great closing remarks from our sponsors. Uh, Dr. Jeffrey Sterling spoke, and of course, Larry Ivory. Universal got a chance to talk to the young people. We brought them up to make sure that we acknowledged them, and we called, like I said, we called them the young people because they're much younger. But just seeing them, because normally we see people of our age and older, because this has been going on for a long time, and the youth are can be disconnected from this type of civic engagement. But seeing them take an active role in learning and being present was just an amazing opportunity, even for us. So, Corey, thank you so much for bringing your group and being a part of that group and giving us a shot in the arm, if you will. And Cassandra,
Yes.
oh, go ahead. You got a delay, man. This is radio. You gotta get it.
You're right, and look, and this is another opportunity that's first for me. So I thank you all for opening the door for us young people to just come in and learn and being patient with us, because we think we know it all, but we don't, and there's so much more to learn. So I'm just appreciative to learn and be able to bring them into the opportunity to learn as well.
I think I'm gonna play that one clip for my sons. That one clip, you said it right there, because you're right. The young people feel disconnected, and that they may have all the answers, but it's always good to see the gap being bridged. Cassandra, closing remarks, and then we're gonna head out of here.
Well, closing remarks is what a wonderful organization, the Illinois Black Caucus. I'm sorry, Illinois Black
State,
Chamber of Commerce.
look, I'm helping you. Illinois State Black Chamber.
Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce is, and everybody should be a part of that. Not only do they educate, but they also bring forth the power of the collective to come down to Springfield to let them know that we have a voice, and a voice that you should hear. And just to mention one last thing, Chairman of the Black Caucus, Paul Williams, came to us and was explaining to us about a piece of legislation that we should definitely be aware of, and it's not to the benefit of Black businesses. I don't remember or have that in front of me, so I don't want to misspeak on it.
It's the Interchange Fee Prohibition Act. And what it is it's forcing the state of Illinois to pass on the charges or fees, the interchange fees, to consumers. So when you swipe your card at any retailer, at any register, even at the vending machine, if you really think this through, anywhere that takes a credit card, you're going to have to swipe again or pay in cash or check to pay your taxes and gratuity. So, guys, look that up. We'll have the link. There's an article on our website about it. I wrote it, and we were working with the Illinois Bankers Association on it, because this has turned into a law. It goes into effect July 1st. So don't be shocked when it happens, but we're trying to fight against it. Okay. So that's it. I just want to close us out business funding. We'll have it on our Facebook page and in the chat. I want to thank you all for listening. Always catch us on Saturdays at 9 a.m. on WVON 1690. I'll be back Monday of next week on WVON for the afternoon show. But always tap in with the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. Big thanks to our sponsor, Wind Creek Casino Southland, Chicago. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I'm LaDonna Raeh, and we're going to see you next week on the Wake Up Show Chicago. Bye-bye.
Get ready to wake up to the pulse of progress as we amplify voices, break barriers, and illuminate the path towards a more inclusive tomorrow. Follow us across the socials at The Wake Up Show Chicago. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's The Wake Up Show every Saturday morning at 9, where change begins with every sunrise.
Welcome to The Wake Up Show Chicago. Chicago.
The talk of Chicago is 1690 WVON, Sherwin, Chicago.
Did you know a woman's risk of breast cancer nearly doubles if she has a first-degree relative? That's a mother, sister, or daughter who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Schedule your mammogram today.
It's time to focus with Robert McKay. Quality conversation, protecting, preserving, and preparing our past, present, and future. Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
At Click Services, we believe in second chances, new opportunities, and building a brighter future, one skill at a time. Our free violence prevention program at Click Services teaches employable skills and technology through courses such as esports skills development, video editing, music production, IT fundamentals, and so much more. Our mission is to help individuals break the cycle of violence and create lasting change. We are more than a nonprofit. We are a community of support, empowerment, and growth. Learn from instructors from varying backgrounds and leaders in their professions. Create a network to propel your career. Skills for life, a future for all. Learn more about how to enroll or donate at www.clickservices.org. That's www.clickservices.org. Your future is just one click away.
It's Rainbow Push's Saturday Morning Forum on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.